Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TinyBlueGames. My name, of course, is Seesaw or Chris, and today we're making another video. Now, I know it's been a little while since I've made a video, and I do apologize. What can I say? I've watched The Office for the 10th time now. I don't know. I was busy at work, lazy in the evening. You get the drift. I'm sure you've all been there. But let's catch up. What games have you guys been playing? I always like to know so that I can stay involved and keep playing those games myself and kind of share it with you guys. To start things off, why don't I share what I've been up to? I've been playing lots of different games actually, which is pretty weird for me because I really enjoy just playing one game and being able to devote all my time to one specific goal on one account. But that's really not been working out for me. I've just had so many different urges to play different games, and it's really unfortunate. I haven't had a theme park MMO that's really grasped me that much. I mean, I've still been playing WildStar and Guild Wars 2 for various different reasons here and there, but I've been really lost playing PvP in things such as Fortnite, like the rest of the world. I mean, hey, I'm only human. And then I've also been lost in weirdly enough, MapleStory, because I've really had an itch to do grinding and leveling, which I know sounds crazy. Whoever has a weird desire to do that, but I've actually been really missing that from a lot of these more new MMOs that you kind of seem to get to max level and never have to grind for anything in your life. I mean, that's kind of the Guild Wars 2 thing, and there's nothing wrong with Guild Wars 2. In fact, I've been really enjoying the most recent patch of bug in the system. I've just not been finding that leveling slash grindy itch there. And I turned to MapleStory because everyone knows that's a great game to grind in, but not the legit MapleStory. I've turned to a private server, and I'm not going to name the server because this video is not about private servers specifically. We're going to touch on it for a second and get to where I'm trying to go. But it's a private server that's based on a past version of MapleStory before the Big Bang, if you're big into MapleStory, you'd know what that means. But pretty much before all the classes became overpowered, for those of you who haven't tried it. And this server really recaptured the good old days of MapleStory for me. The nostalgic feeling that I had playing MapleStory as a kid. And the whole point of this video is the power of nostalgia when it comes to gaming, but more specifically when it comes to MMORPGs, because I think there's a really big movement happening in the MMORPG genre, and it's gonna focus on nostalgia. Now let's back up and look at nostalgia for a second in gaming in general. And a lot of companies have taken advantage of nostalgia, and it's not really hard to do for certain products. Like my favorite or my first game on a PS2 was Jak and Daxter, and that's an absolutely excellent game, and I'm sure I'm not the only one here who's nostalgic about playing that game for the first time. But the way Naughty Dogs is able to capitalize on that is they simply release a remastered version of it because they have that product ready to go. It just remastered for graphics and stuff like that, and I'm able to recapture that childhood memory playing it on a new console. So it's really easy for them to use nostalgia to sort of sell essentially the same product to me again. And I mean, that's the beauty of it for the industry. And you might think, hey, that's a really mean thing to do to the consumer, bad company. But for me, that's actually a tremendous amount of joy I'm getting from buying it again. So I can't really complain about it, because if I didn't want it, I wouldn't buy it. I did want it, and it brought me, I went and played it again with my brother for like the first time in like 10 years or 5 years or whatever. And I would definitely pay that amount of money for that feeling. And it's not exactly the same thing in MMORPGs, is it? Because their product is changed in an irreversible way. For instance, if you fell in love with World of Warcraft back in Wrath of the Lich King or the Burning Crusade, you can't go and play, World of Warcraft today, which is like the remastered version of it, and enjoy a nostalgic feeling of playing back in those days. It's not at all the same. I mean, there's new classes, the XP gain is different. There's flying. I guess there was flying in Burning Crusade, but you know what I mean. Like the entire world's different because of Cataclysm. Like things have changed such to a point that you just don't enjoy it. And that's where a lot of these players who, couldn't live without curing that itch, turned to private servers. And just a little history on private servers, there's a lot of them for various MMORPGs, such as World of Warcraft, MapleStory, many other older MMORPGs as well. And they offer several things. Obviously, they offer a different version of the game, like an older file of the game. But they can also, and this is the part developers don't like, offer World of Warcraft without a subscription fee, offer an MMO without having to pay for the cash shop items, and that's they're losing revenue. That's why they don't like these games. And what they'd always do to private servers is they would serve them with a cease and desist kind of order, which they're completely legally allowed to do, and one would go down and then another one would come up, and it would be a game of whack-a-mole really that's gone on for at least, like, for MapleStory, I've known about private servers for at least 10 years, and they're still going on and off and on and off to today. And that's just kind of how the gaming company dealt with it. But what I don't think they saw until recently is that this is our community asking for that nostalgia feeling that they're not able to deliver on. And now I think they finally got it, that we're not after the zero subscription fee. We're not after the free cash up items. Like, yes, those are fun, but we're after the old game that we, played with our best friend back when we were 10. That's what people want. Our first time raiding something, our first time, killing the specific boss at this difficulty with this class. Those are the feelings we're trying to get back. And now I think the gaming community and the developers of games have really started to understand that, because we're starting to see legacy servers. Now, I'd already made a video talking about World of Warcraft's legacy server, and not much more information has been really released. I mean, a bit more, but we haven't seen it come into play yet, and that's really what I'm waiting on to see if it is worth it or not. But since then, what we have seen is other gaming companies sort of jumping on this bandwagon. So, for instance, Tryon, which I know that's kind of a dirty word for a lot of people, they've introduced a legacy server for Rift, and that went off pretty well. It had a sub model, and it was going to be very much like how Rift was when it launched. And there was a lot of excited people about that. Actually, pretty much everyone was excited about the idea of getting to play Rift back in the day. The only issue with this legacy server is that it's being ran by Tryon, and people really, really hate Tryon. But then they went and did another one for Arcade. So we can assume that there was a fair bit of pickup for the Rift one. And what this really shows is that there might be that desire in people's eyes to play legacy servers. And I think it's a really great idea, because so many people who play these private servers do wish that they could play with a bigger community, do wish that this was, the actual game. Because for myself, yes, I do enjoy, playing the private server. I enjoy the feel of the game and all that, but I do longingly look at the live server, at the constant updates, at the huge player base, and let's be honest, there's some quality of life elements that have been added to games that you do wish you could bring back to those servers, or certain bug fixes and stuff like that. So I think that's where these big companies need to step in. They need to find a fine line between what is nostalgic and people want to have in the game from the past, and what is a new quality of life feature that's going to make this package even better. And I think this is the next big move for the MMORPG world. And I know that's kind of disheartening for a lot of people who are always looking for the next big MMORPG like Ashes of Creation or Crowfall or something like that. That's really gonna, change the entire world and be the next big World of Warcraft or whatever. But when you look at all these other, gaming industries, it's a lot of selling old products that made us happy, that's keeping these companies alive. And although I do think innovation and new products is a great thing, I think that's pretty much what the MMORPG world's focused on for the last 30 years without ever considering reselling their products, reselling the good old times that they know worked. And I think taking a break and really focusing on that is going to capture people's attention. And I think it already has. I think not only were people excited to see legacy servers announced by Blizzard, but myself included, I was surprised. I was like, wow, that's actually something I didn't think you guys were going to do. For instance, I heard about Overwatch many years ago, and I was like, whatever Blizzard launches, it's going to be an extreme success. And Overwatch was an extreme success. But I wasn't surprised that it was extreme success. I mean, they've got the polish, they've got the world building, they can make a great game. What I was surprised to see was that, hey, Blizzard, a leader in this genre, is willing to say, hey, I think our consumers want to play this product that we got rid of. Let's bring it back to them. Let's give them what they want. And I think this is really these companies listening to us. So I know this got kind of ranty at the end, and I don't know, I've tried to say this, do this recording so many different times. Sometimes I've just gotten way too loud and excited. Sometimes I've gone way too ranty. I think this is kind of like a medium amount of both, so hopefully you guys don't hate it. And I do hope to make more videos, especially as some of these new legacy servers come out. Until then, I'm going to be, I guess, playing many different games. So like I said at the start, let me know what you guys are playing. I'm always looking for another game to try out. I know there's some really exciting titles coming out in 2018, but I'm also not a super big up and up, like I don't check all the MMO news every day. So if something's launching soon and you think I should check it out, let me know. I'm always looking forward to that. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much.